whoever keeps putting up these posters around the cafeteria, along with the found dog one, this is not okay. This is not okay. Hello, my fellow Italians, and welcome back to Hetafacts. And I just got back from YoumaCon, or rather, I got back from getting a new room key, because mine kind of snapped in half. Yeah, I was just fidgeting with my lanyard this weekend, like I normally end up doing, and it just snapped in half. It still worked though, but I got a new one anyways. So, let's get to YoumaCon. The YoumaCon was, the building it was in, or the buildings, plural, were definitely, it's bigger than ASEN. I mean, not population-wise, but when it comes to, like, buildings, yeah, it was definitely the biggest building and buildings I've ever seen in a convention. There's so much empty space that you could use to fill with anime garbage to keep people enticed. I mean, it didn't have as big of a population and doesn't have as interesting of guests as Anime Central does, but it was still, I mean, the building itself is ginormous. I went with my local anime club. On Friday, I arrived at about 6 p.m. and I was Okaruto from Yandere Simulator, and I was a little late, so there was the vendor's hall was just closing up, so I didn't get to see much of that. But what I did do was I went to a Todd Habercorn panel. That was the one you heard me talking about on Tumblr. It was an 18 plus Todd Habercorn panel. Anyways, after that I went to another voice actors panel with 4 other voice actors that aren't really as well known. I mean, one of them voiced Australia and Hifumi Yamada from Danganronpa. And I can't remember what else the other guys voiced, but that one, even though I didn't know them that well, I found it really hilarious. And the YoumaCon is in Detroit, so I completely forgot that Detroit isn't a very safe city. My hotel wasn't in the hotel at the same place that the con was actually being held at. It was at another hotel that was nearby. And so I was walking back, and people noticed, like, "Hey, you're walking alone?" He's like, "Oh yeah, no, I do this all the time. I get mace." It's like, "Oh no, we're gonna walk you home. We're gonna make sure you're safe." It was a bunch of groups of guys, and then there was one of those guys was actually part of security staff, actually, which is nice. I mean, and then there's a guy that was like, "See right over there, that corner, I saw a guy get shot in the stomach." I'm just like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago." And I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot this is a dangerous city. But yeah, I got walked back to my hotel room, and I ended up getting there. People were still awake, finishing up their last-minute cosplays. So I was able to claim the couch. I finished up some pins for my Kaede cosplay. The next morning, I wanted to go to what was called the Danganron panel. Very punny. Yes, very punny. And so I dressed as Kaede, and I made my way to the first panel of the day, 10 a.m. And so, right behind me, I noticed there was a poll, and I'm like, oh, the Hetalia photo shoot's going to be fun. And so, but then, as my way up is like, okay, the panel ended, I went upstairs, and I probably should have noticed this when the Poland behind me left, but I went upstairs, I went to go to the people mover, because they had a kind of like a train just to move people back and forth. You could pay $5 for the whole weekend, but since it was already Saturday and I didn't know this before, then I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna pay 75 cents each time. They give you the token and the change all the time. And then my friend texted me, is like, "Are you at the Hetalia photo shoot?" I'm like, "No, it's not till 1:30. He's like, "No, it's at 11:30. I'm like, "What?" And apparently online it said, "Oh, it changed to 11:30. I'm like, where did people find this out online? And so I kind of panicked a little. I didn't quite have a total breakdown, but I'm just like, oh crap, I'm not sure if I can make it. And then I look at the clock. He said he asked someone and said it ended at 12:30, and I look at the clock. It's about to go be 12 o'clock. And I'm just like, I think I can make it. And so I get on the people mover. I go back to my hotel, dash off the people mover, dash down the stairs, run to my hotel. I kind of had heels. They're this thick, but I have a bad habit of walking on my toes anyways. So it made me like a lot faster, actually, I think. And by the time I got to the hotel, I was about to throw up because of the running, and I am not in very good shape. But luckily, I already had a dress shirt and a tie as part of my Danganronpa cosplay, so that made everything 10 times easier. So I just threw on the pants, threw on the jacket, grabbed my wig, grabbed the belt, and ran out the door. I took the elevator down, and I realized it's going to be a lot quicker to get to the Renaissance Center, because there's two buildings, the Kobo Center and the Renaissance Center. The Renaissance Center was where the photo shoot was taking place. And so I'm like, oh, the Renaissance Center, it's 40 minutes away by walking. There's fumes and gases in my face, and I'm just like, I'm gonna make it to this photo shoot. I'm going to make it to this photo shoot. I have 20 minutes left to get there. I can do this. By the time I get there, I'm like, oh gosh, where is the Riverwalk? I don't know where that is. I've never been inside this building. I've only been to the other building before. I figured out where the end was. I looked outside. I was like, I see a Russia. Yes, I made it. And I run. I just barely 10 minutes left. And I run, and then everyone's like, Lithuania! And I do a fake fall. Because I felt so exhausted. I was so dehydrated, so exhausted. But I was overall impressed by how fast I did that. I'm just like, oh my gosh, the things I do for my fans, the things I do for Hetalia. Anyways, we did a bit of a photo shoot. There were 4 rushes there, actually. And there was the Poland there. And we made some pretty interesting photos. It was run by the same person that ran the photo shoot at YoumaCon. And she pointed me out like, hey, I remember you from YoumaCon. And is there anything I could do to improve? It's like, oh no, it's not you. It's just I need to learn how technology works. And I still don't know how I'm going to know this stuff for the future. And if things get moved, I don't know what site to look on. I don't know what, I think it's just I need to look in the online schedule rather than the one that they give me on paper. So we had lunch. Often runs the photo shoots in Michigan in general. She has a whole base of children, and it's just so cute. This woman has my respect. First, we agreed to meet up at 1 again for like a second photo shoot, but by the time we talked and finally dispersed, it was like 12:50. So at the time it was approaching 1:30, I'm just like, the original photo shoot was supposed to be at 1:30, so I'm gonna go out there and see if there's any lost souls still there or anything, because I bet you I'm not the only one who thought that it was at 1:30 instead. And so I go out there with take a couple of people. We run into like an America, a Femme Canada, and another Russia in the hallway. They're just like, yeah, we're just gonna run around. We're like, but we're gonna do another meetup. They're like, we're just gonna run around. And then I saw a Belarus as I walked past. I'm just like, yes, I can now be the harem king. And then I get out there. First person I see, my Chibitalia friend, or Panda Mom as you know her, from Anime Midwest. The one I went to GoDaikoCon with, the one I live streamed with. She's there. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you'd be here. Yeah, it was her and her sister is Liechtenstein, and then she brought her Holy Rome with her. And so I'm just like, oh great, they're Chibitalia and Holy Rome. And that was enough to convince them and everyone else to go outside and meet up with everyone. There was a couple of more people. I mean, we got another Belarus. I mean, we lost our Denmark. The woman who heads the Michigan cosplayers of Italia thing, she always cosplays as France. Because I can understand, because France is, quote, the world's Oni-chan. We do another photo shoot with some other hilarious antics, like this one of us. Someone requested that we do a photo where we pretend to throw Canada into the river. And afterwards, we exchanged tumblers and everything. I got a couple of, wait, that's you? And stuff like that. Afterwards, the only two people that were left following me, I mean, the Poland asked me to contact them later. I'm just like, yeah, of course. I mean, I always give respect to people who cosplay Poland, because it's like people who cosplay Lithuania. Very few of them exist. And so the one who cosplayed Austria and one that cosplayed one of the Russias, I ended up hanging out with. And the thing is, they were both around my age. For once, I hung out with people that weren't younger than me. They weren't really, so I can't really call them kohais. That was really nice. I hung out with them like majority of the rest of the day. And it was really, really fun to spend time with them. I also spent time with them today as well. Eventually, the Chibitalia joined us. She changed into Hungary, and we walked around vendors in the artist alley. Oh, by the way, I guess I can show you my glorious loot that I got from the artist alley. Today, I spent $42 on merchandise. Just on merchandise. That's just today. And that does not include the $2 apple that I bought. A $2 apple. Bullshit. Okay, so they had more of these, the things that you clip onto and hang on there too. I got like Germany and Japan and Jean and Pierre in the past. This time they had a lot more characters. I got Minane from Mirai and Nikki. I got a birthday present for one of my friends. I got Byakuya Togami. Fun fact, his English voice actor is the same as Lithuania's English voice actor. Yeah, Lithuania's Byakuya Togami. And then they also, before they just had the Axis Trio, now they expanded to include more characters like Austria and Russia. Also today I got this. For those of you who can't tell, this is the giant fleece Italia blanket. I think I might have talked about this in another video before. I've seen this at the Meridian Mall when I still lived at my other university. And I've seen this at another convention, but at the other convention it was $40 and it got knocked down to $30. So I'm like, for a big, soft, fluffy blanket that I really needed the previous night, which I'll explain later. I'll explain later what the story behind that. I think that's a pretty good deal. That basically took up a lot of my cash. There was 3 shirts, Italia shirts, I know I did not have. But I only got one because I tried my best to save my money. I got this one, the I Am Awesome one, because I thought it was the most creative. I've seen the other image before, and then the other one they didn't have my size in. So, yeah. Anyways, I also got a couple of stickers, mostly Pokemon. And this one is my favorite. Back when you can name your Pokemon anything you want. Now you can't name it anything you want because people trade often. I got a Russia sticker. I also got a couple of other stickers for my friends' Christmas presents, even though I know I probably won't be able to see them for Christmas this year. I also got a Doitsu, a little tiny Doitsu, and it's official merchandise too. There was some stickers at another stand, like official merchandise stickers, but with like images you've probably seen before. But I'm just like, I spent enough money today. I spent $42 today. I'm gonna stop it here. I'm gonna just stop it. So that I got a teeny tiny Doitsu. Very cute, hey? It's official merchandise too. Overlord merchandise. The only Overlord merchandise I have ever found. I think it's just a bunch of posters and stuff. There was an entire stand. It had the Hetalia art book and official Hetalia art book, but I didn't get it because you can find that shit on the internet. But I got a binder. This holds folders, notebooks. They also sold official merchandise stickers and stuff like that. It was, and I love how Lithuania isn't on here. Estonia made it on here. Austria made it on here. Russia made it on here. Sealand made it on there. Liechtenstein made it on here. Greece, Finland, but not Lithuania. Anyways, and now I'm going to show you the best for last. I believe this is also official Hetalia merchandise. The mochis. This is Spain and Italy, but they're stuck together. They're really soft and really squishy. And they're like just permanently fused together. But I guess if you fold them, you make them kiss. If you ship that, I know Spain ships it. I think this is probably the most money I've ever really spent during a con. I'm serious about that. I think this is the most money I've ever spent during a con. Because, I mean, there's more money I was about to spend. I didn't get anything Neko Atsume, I didn't get a giant plush or anything. I purposefully conserved my money. Anyways, after the whole shopping, yeah, I met up with, we walked, and all the fun and everything. We walked, I walked the Austria and the Russia back to the hotel, their hotel and everything, and Panda Mom happened to be at the same hotel, and so I walked there and I said, oh, we can meet up later for an R18 panel because I can actually go to an R18 panel with you people, which is great. Because I can't do it with any of my other co-highs or anything. I can do it with people that are my age, which is great. And I have people that are my age. Anyways, so I decided, you know what? I only had one real meal today. I think I'm going to finally eat. And so I go downstairs and there's like a huge line. There's like a mac and cheese restaurant, just solely dedicated to mac and cheese. It's a very long line. So I was like, alright, I'll get in the line. And so, while I'm in the line, this guy goes, hey, do you ride the People Mover often? I'm like, yeah, kind of, why? So he hands me a bunch of tokens, because apparently he had to put a 20 in the machine, and he got a crap ton of tokens, so he's like, here, I'm not going to use this many. Here. I'm just like, oh, gee, thanks. Now I don't have to buy a pass. And then I looked at the schedule. I'm like, oh, when is that panel I want to go to? I'm like, oh, there's one going on right now. And so I got out of line. I'm like, I don't need to eat dinner. And so I went to this thing called, it was supposed to be Yaoi After Dark. And I thought it was going to be like a Whose Line Is It Anyways thing, like kind of like the fanfiction After Dark kind of panel. And so I go there, and when I go there, I'm about to go in the People Mover, and first, when I insert the coin, I must have inserted in the wrong slot, because the gate didn't move, so me being as thin as I am, I slipped through the gate, because I'm like, I insert my coin, I will go through, and all of a sudden I hear hey, I'm like, oh gosh, the cops got me, and then I turn around, and it's like, it's a Neotalia Prussia. I'm just like, oh, thank God, I thought you were the police. I inserted my coin, I swear. And so she was apparently going to the same panel, or the same event. And so we're like, okay, let's go there together. I know, I went to that room earlier on today. We also saw the France later on that day with one of the Americas and the Russia we met earlier. Oh yeah, did I mention I got picked up a lot at this panel? Yeah, no, a lot of people were concerned if that made me uncomfortable. It doesn't. I get picked up a lot. I'm a very light person. I don't weigh very much. I pretty much exist for the purpose of being picked up. I think one time oh yeah, during the photo shoot, someone slung me over their shoulder. It was pretty fun. It was just, I'm like, as long as you don't drop me on my head, I'm okay. That's why on Sunday I made sure to bobby pin my wig that time. We went to the panels like, oh, they started with a few skits, and then they're just like, oh, then they just went on. It was a bunch of Yuri on Ice AMVs and a bunch of actual Yaoi AMVs. We're just like, eh. Then we go to the one next door and we find something I don't want to talk about. And it's just like, okay, well, both of these panels are crap. And then we see the Belarus from earlier across the hall. We're like, oh, hi, Belarus. And so apparently she was also 18. I met a lot of people that that are like me. They don't look like they're over 18, but they are. And so we were talking about how that crappy both of the panels were and both of the events were. I mean, they weren't really panels. They weren't panels at all, but they was just we just talked about how about that, and we talked about other things, and then the pressure had to go, but that I suggested, like, oh, well, you should go to the Voice Actors After Dark thing. I mean, I went to one yesterday, and this one involved, what was his name? Billy West, and he provides a lot of voices for Futurama. A bunch of other people, and Todd Haberkorn. J. Michael Tatum was originally going to be there, but he couldn't make it to the convention at all, actually. But Todd Haberkorn and Billy West was still there, and it was a much longer line than Todd Haberkorn's line, but it was a pretty huge room, so they never had to reject any people, because it was a really big room. This is a really big center. So after that, we bummed around for a little bit, we talked for a while, and then they walked me to the next panel, which I went to a fan fiction After Dark. And I only caught the tail end of it because I got so wrapped up in talking to other people and talking to them. And while we were going up there trying to figure out this stuff, because the elevators were shut down, and it was just, oh my gosh, this is annoying, because the way the building was structured, it made you go around in circles, and it was annoying. We saw another Belarus there, but I couldn't hear what she was saying. The place was really loud. They said they had a Lithuania, and I'm just like, oh gosh, maybe I'll see them later. So I get to the panel, or it's whatever's left of it, and it was pretty fun. I mean, I love fan fiction After Dark panels, or like bad fan fiction reading panels, are really hilarious. Some of the best things to go to. And then I went back downstairs. I'm like, okay, maybe the Belarus and Lithuania are still there. I go back down, and it's like, no, might as well get something to eat though while I'm here. And I noticed the Mother France there. I forget what she wants us to call her though, but I'm gonna alternate names throughout the video because I have a terrible, terrible memory. Anyways, I see her there with a few of her children, and she offers me a seat. It's like, cause right at the point I had a bag full of my merchandise. It was, the handle broke and everything. I'm just like, thank you so much. And so I actually ate a second meal that day. And we all walked back together, and but by the time daylight savings had happened, so we went through 1 a.m. twice. By the time we got back to Greek Town, I brought fake Cards Against Humanity, like the stuff you cut out, and I played Cards Against Humanity with some members of my anime club, which was the one thing I actually did together with my anime club people. Anyways, by the time we ended, it was like 3:30 in the morning, which, if you don't count daylight savings time, would be 4:30 a.m. And I'm just like, oh gosh, I'm gonna feel like crap the next morning. So I go back to my room, and my key doesn't work. Before, the key worked when I was in a rush. It worked, but now it wasn't working. I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me? It's like 3:30 a.m. I just want to sleep. I go back down, I'm like, hi, my key isn't working again. And so we go back up, and the guy lets me in. I even knocked on the door. I know, I was like, everyone's just dead asleep. All the couches, beds are taken. I'm just like, oh great, I'm sleeping on the floor. So there is this thing that goes across the bed to like make it look nice. It's like a long strip of like blue fabric across the bed. You know the hotels that have those? That's what I was using as a blanket for like the past few days, because we're saving money. We're cramming all into one bedroom. And that was supposed to be my blanket, as well as like a few throw pillows from the couch. I'm just like, oh, the floor is not very comfy. Oh gosh, I'm gonna feel like crap tomorrow. And eventually I use my coat as like a kind of a mattress, but my coat isn't very puffy. If I had my trench coat, I would have been fine. But no, I don't have my beautiful trench coat. Anyways, after the whole debacle thing, when I had my Kaede thing on, I'm decided, you know what? Since Panda Mom's gonna be Belarus and her sister's going to be Ukraine, I think I'm just gonna stick with Lithuania. I mean, if I had brought my Russia wig and my along, I could have done Estonia, which would have been fun. All I just need to do is just put on glasses, change my wig, done. Today after shopping, I got some professional like pictures from my friend I played Cards Against Humanity with. He also drove me home. Very, very good pictures. It's like, oh my gosh, now I know what a professional camera looks like, and what pictures look like. It just like I feel so inferior. Anyways, after taking some very sexy photos, I'm kidding, I shopped, and I ran into them again. They were the Russia and Austria, only this time they were Neo Italia, America, and Russia. We took some pictures, which I'll probably show up on the screen in a moment, but we did this thing with I forget what it's called in Japanese, but you go in the photo booth and you have to like edit the photos and stuff, but it's just, yeah, it was rather fun. Yeah, notice how good and beautiful they look, because they know how makeup works. I don't. Anyways, then we ran into Panda Mom and her family, and she got the Holy Rome to be Russia, and so I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. They look so great. They really did. They really did. They looked really, really great. And so we were like, okay, this is a family vacation. We're all going on a family vacation. It was really fun. And so afterwards, I went to another bad fanfiction panel. This one wasn't rated R18, but there were a lot of references that probably should be in an R18 panel. They were reading a Sonic fanfiction called Sonic High School, and it was just, I was laughing my ass off. And so I went to most of the day without food until after the panel, it's like, okay, we're supposed to be leaving at 5:30, so I'm like, it's like 5, I'm like, I have time. So I grabbed some food. So I have 2 guys from Thailand and another guy from Korea. I'm the only not Asian and the only female in the car. And it's pretty interesting. And after we waited around for a guy who didn't even show up, who apparently lives in Detroit, I honestly thought he got mugged and disappeared. But yeah, and then we stopped and we went to a Japanese restaurant. And we had a lot of fun. And then he dropped me off, and now I'm here. So yeah, overall, I would rate this. This is probably one of my favorite cons I've gone to. I mean, the stuff that went down at Anime Midwest, nothing could really ever top things that go down at Anime Midwest. And the week I went to Anime Central, I think that's about it almost ties this one. It comes pretty close, probably because I spent 3 days here. But there's 2 Hetalia photo shoots, so that was fun. Improvements, I'd say maybe a lot of the hallways and rooms are just really empty, and I don't like the fact that you had panels and stuff in 2 different hotels, because there's like, oh, I want to go to this, oh wait, it's on the other side, I don't want to go back outside, especially not in a short schoolgirl outfit, because there's a lot of really interesting panels that I missed because they were in the other building. That might have made things a little bit easier if they just stuck to one building, because there's definitely more than enough room in just one of those buildings for this entire convention. I mean, I love the celebrities they had. I mean, I didn't get any autographs because I just didn't want to stand in the lines. Anyways, that's about it for my review of YoumaCon. So anyways, oh, by the way, I need some recommendations for, next year I'm planning on being in Freiburg, Germany, studying. And I still can't find, I haven't really looked for any anime conventions around that area. Basically, it's kind of by the Swiss-French border, so I think that opens up my options a little bit. And until then, keep on studying.